Number one, what I want to say to my younger self and to any woman who this might resonate with is to pour into yourself and get to know yourself. If you've seen The Summer I Turned Pretty, I'm also watching XO Kitty right now. So I'm really into the Jenny Han universe right now. And something I really appreciate seeing in these TV shows and on the screen is women traveling and exploring. This helps them grow. Number four, this is one of my favorite ones that I've written, and it is take your interests seriously. I'm so grateful that I stuck to my filmmaking path. There were so many times I was going to quit and kid myself into something more practical. Two notable times I tried to quit my film major. So in college, the first time was because I was like, let me just be a psychology major. I think I would also really like to be a therapist. And like, I had this vision of me being a therapist in a small town and having a predictable life, a husband, kids, and like small town therapists. Like I was like, you know what? That seems safe. That seems like something that will make others proud of me. Then I actually, funnily enough, I talked to a therapist and then she was like, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Diana Christine. I'm a filmmaker, and on my YouTube channel, as well as my social media, I document my creative journey and the lessons I learn along the way. My work primarily centers women and the divine feminine and women realizing their power and their worth. And in today's video, I really wanted to talk about what I've learned now that I'm 25. I recently turned 25. It was my birthday last week, and I wrote a newsletter post with a few things that I learned, and I really want to talk about it and go into detail in this video in case it might help you. If you're younger than me or even at any age, I think these are just things to remember as you move forward. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. I do have my laptop with me. I have the newsletter post opened on my laptop so I can read from it and expand, because I think there's only so much I can do with writing. I love to talk things out, and I post very frequently on my newsletter on Substack. So definitely subscribe. It's free. You'll get email updates from me all the time, whether it's motivational things about your creative journey, things that can help you, or it's updates about my film projects. I'm working on so many short films right now, and I'm really excited. I am in film school at the moment, so that's been really helping me make a ton of work really quickly. It is pretty stressful a lot of the time for me because I'm in film school, but I also work part-time as a barista. So I'm always working on something, but it's my current era, and I've been documenting it on my YouTube and on my social media. I share updates all the time on my Instagram as well. So I'll put other links to where you can find me down below. But yes, so I really like to post frequently on my newsletter as well as YouTube to give you long form updates and things I've been learning. So anyway, let's go into my newsletter. Number one, what I want to say to my younger self and to any woman who this might resonate with is to pour into yourself and get to know yourself, get hobbies, try new things, travel if you can, do more side quests. It'll help open your world and help you meet so many cool people and see different perspectives. So this is something that I wish I did more of when I was younger. So if you get the opportunity, try to put yourself in new environments where you can get to know different perspectives and get to know yourself better. And I think it's so important at any point in your life to really get to know yourself through trying new things and trying new hobbies. Something that I really am fond of that I see in TV shows lately. Well, the TV shows that I've been seeing. If you've seen The Summer I Turned Pretty, I'm also watching XO Kitty right now. So I'm really into the Jenny Han universe right now. And something I really appreciate seeing in these TV shows and on the screen is women traveling and exploring, these young women, Belly, for example, who went to Paris, and she really tried to put herself in a new environment and figure herself out. And then Kitty, who is putting herself in this new environment, in this new international boarding school, right? This helps them grow. And that's something that I did a little bit of when I was younger. I did a little bit of traveling through school trips, and I went to college in a different state for the first 2 years of my college experience. And I wish I did even more traveling. I think like if you can, whether it's even to a different state, depending on where you live, into a different town, try to see something new. Maybe it's a different part of the town or the city that you already live in. That's something that is so invaluable. And also get hobbies, try new things. Like think about everything you've ever wanted to try and try it if you can, even if it's at a small scale. Like even if it's maybe you've always wanted to try ice skating, right? Just like go for it, try it one day, like I'm thinking of random things, but definitely fill your life with side quests, because side quests are so important and they always leave you with something new, something that you might have not known or seen before. Even interacting with other people, you get to when you're in these side quests or when you're traveling, right? It helps you when you connect to new people, and even just one conversation in passing with a stranger, it helps you build confidence, because it helps you see that you can put yourself out there. You can talk to so many people and you're capable of more than you think. Number 2, have boundaries. Please, life isn't black and white. There's so much nuance. A lot of your friendships and conflicts could have been saved if you just had boundaries and like knew how to communicate properly, but you live and you learn. So that I'm reading directly from my newsletter. That's how I like to write. I like to write how I speak. So my newsletter is very casual in that tone. But yes, have boundaries. What I mean by this is I think like for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, when you're young, things seem very black and white, right? Things don't have much nuance. Like either this person is a bad person or a good person, right? Like, whereas that's an example, but whereas in life, things are not so simple all the time. And I think this could have helped me navigate conflict. I went through a lot of friendship breakups in my early 20s, like a lot for varying reasons, but what it comes down to, and when I see the role that I played in it, it was definitely like not understanding nuance, not understanding that you can't have certain expectations of every single person, and not every friend that you have is your best friend, right? Some people are just school friends, some people are just work friends, some people are just friends that you party with, some people are just friends that you go to lunch with every once in a while. Maybe they're friends that you try certain hobbies with, or, like not everyone has the same capacity to, like for you to have the same expectations for every single friendship. And I feel like that's kind of what I try to do in my early 20s. I thought like, oh, either this person is not a good friend or they're a bad influence, right? Sometimes those friends are just professional friends and you don't need to cross them over too much into your personal life. And you have to have more discernment about who you allow to be really close to you, because not everyone has that capacity. That's not every person's role in your life. And there's more nuance. Like you can have the boundary of like, maybe for this particular friend, for example, they are just a school friend. I don't have to also cross them over into my really personal life and go out with them and celebrate birthdays with them, for example. I don't have to do so much with that person, but we can still have a friendly acquaintance-like relationship, and it doesn't have to be completely cut off, because that's what I would do. I used to like completely just cut people off and think, oh, there's no way this person can be in my life. But sometimes it's a little more complicated than that, and they can just serve as this part of your life, this part, like there's boundaries and ways that you can navigate relationships with others, and it doesn't all have to result in like a big confrontation. And that's how I kind of look at things now. I look at them more nuanced. I look at it like, just because this person isn't a good maybe this person wouldn't be a good personal friend, and I wouldn't want to be friends with them in a close way, because maybe I don't like their mindset, I don't like the way they handle things, I don't like their personality. So maybe they can just stay a work friend, for for example, like where I have to interact with them at work, or I have to interact with them at school, I have to interact with them in this capacity. Maybe they're a family member, right? And you have to interact with them to a certain capacity. Maybe they can just stay in these certain limited interactions instead of completely cutting them off or completely inviting them in, right? And forcing a relationship with them. Number 3, trust that everything falls together as it's meant to. Things end and fall apart when it's no longer aligned, and that is so normal and okay. I think I had to learn that things happen the way they're supposed to, and like even the mistakes I made in the past, even all the people I lost in the past, like that helped me learn these important lessons, and it helped me gain this wisdom firsthand, because there's nothing that like wisdom that you gain firsthand. It's such a great feeling. Like, if you know what I mean, like imagine that you learned firsthand something from a relationship, from a breakup, right? From a friendship. Maybe it was a work thing, a school thing. Like, you make these mistakes and then you gain the wisdom, and then you'll never make those mistakes again. And you, even now, you can help guide other people. You can help inform better decision making for yourself moving forward. So there's no regret to be had. Like, even through the most painful situations I've been in, like friendship breakups, for example, the most painful ones, like I think I used to get really sad and bogged down and like really hard on myself. Like, why didn't I handle it better? Why couldn't I have made a different choice? But now I don't think that way. I think like, that's how it had to happen. That's what happened. I learned from my mistake. I apologized. I tried to make amends, and it didn't work out, and that's okay. I did what I could in that situation. There's nothing else I can do. There's nothing, I can't go back and change it. I can't go back and be a different person. But what I can do is implement that now and not make those same mistakes again, and alter my way of thinking so that I can make better decisions moving forward. And I think I also had to be like okay with being alone sometimes, right? I think I used to cling to the wrong people, or try to make things more, like, for example, like I tried to maybe make for a work friend or a school friend, for example, into someone who it was a closer friend. Like, I try to force things because I didn't want to be alone. And I think like I had to be okay with these flowing relationships. I had to be okay if I grew apart from a friend. Maybe sometimes you in life, especially in your 20s, you just grow apart naturally, and you have to just let it flow. Like, maybe in a season, a certain friend is not so close with you as they were in the past, but that doesn't have to be a sad thing or a bad thing or something that's wrong, something that you're doing wrong. It's just how it is. You just have to like go with the current sometimes, and accept like maybe that's just the season I'm in, and trust that it's falling together as it's meant to, and it's just alignment. Number 4, this is one of my favorite ones that I've written, and it is take your interests seriously. I'm so grateful that I stuck to my filmmaking path. There were so many times I was going to quit and kid myself into something more practical, but sticking to something and seeing it through long enough to start seeing improvement is so fulfilling and practical. So this is one of my favorites because it's something that I really believe in and I live firsthand all the time. And I really truly believe like you're drawn to the things that you're drawn to for a reason, and it is something that will help lead you on the path that you're supposed to go on. Like for me, for example, when I was younger, I was drawn to acting. I really liked theater, and so I was in a few plays in high school and in college. I wanted to act in student films, right? I auditioned for things. But then one day I just realized that I'm just not that comfortable in front of the camera acting, and I really don't like it, and I really don't want to improve in it. So that, that taught me like sometimes the things that, well, before I go into what that taught me, I want to say that, but regardless of how the acting thing turned out, it still put me on this path of filmmaking, which is what I feel way better aligned with. I love writing stories. I love directing stories. I love when I can take something from my head and then put it outside and then have other people collaborate on it. And then it becomes something concrete and living and breathing. It's so cool when you can just turn something, an experience that happened to you, and then now you're inviting actors into it. You're inviting your cinematographer. You're inviting a ton of other artists to collaborate on a film that you wrote and that you came up with, like that is something that I really love, and I can do it all the time. And that's different from acting, right? Like a little different. It's in the same field, but if I hadn't pursued acting, I probably and learned like, okay, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. Then like I wouldn't have been on the path of filmmaking, right? So like even if you pursue something and it's not quite right, it gives you valuable data, and you're like, okay, maybe then it's this thing, and then it's like little pebbles like leading to a path, and then the path, you build something at the end. And for me, I'm very grateful that I didn't quit filmmaking. I was going to quit so many times, like in college when I decided to major in film, because it was hard technically. Like I still think it's hard technically, and there's always more to learn. But like I didn't come from a technical, tech savvy place where I know immediately how to use a camera, how to do lighting, how to do sound, right? I didn't come from that technical place. I just came from a place where I had an idea and I had a story idea and I wanted to see it come to life. I came from a writing background. I was always a writer, and I would always write stories, whether it was plays, poetry, short stories. And then eventually I realized that I wanted to invite other people onto it, and that writing was not enough for me. I needed to see this on the screen. I needed to see it in a really like 3D way, and I'm glad I didn't quit. Like I'm telling you, I would try to quit so many times. Literally, I think twice, 2 notable times I tried to quit my film major. So in college, the first time was because I was like, let me just be a psychology major. I think I would also really like to be a therapist. And like, I had this vision of me being a therapist in a small town and having a predictable life, a husband, kids, and like small town therapists. Like I was like, you know what? That seems safe. That seems like something that will make others proud of me. That's something that sounds good and that sounds logical. It sounds like, okay, that girl has some sense in her. That's what I thought. And then I actually, funnily enough, I talked to a therapist, and then she was like, it sounds like film is more exciting for you and that you're more passionate about that. Just choose what you're passionate about. And so I went back to filmmaking, to the film major. And then the second time that I almost quit film was when I transferred colleges. So I went to another state for college for 2 years, and then I transferred colleges, and then at the second college I was at, which I graduated from, I tried to I applied to the film program, and then I was kind of like having second self-doubt, and I was like, let me just go to the English major and I'll minor in journalism. So it was all these like adjacent paths, right? Kind of like therapy, not really, but just because I really am a reflective person. I love self-growth. So I guess that's kind of in the realm of my interests. But then journalism, I was like, yeah, because I have a natural gift with writing. I'm naturally a writer. So that was kind of easy for me. Like when I would be in journalism class or English classes, it would just be kind of easy. Like I would just try, I'll write something, and then I'll do well in it. And then, but also like journalism in particular was really boring to me. Like I sat in a journalism class and I felt kind of doomed because I didn't care about it. Like I was hearing about how to grow in journalism, and I was like, I don't care. Like I don't want to do it. And then I was like, why am I wasting my life in this class? Why am I wasting my life in a career that I don't care about and that I don't want to improve on? I don't want to keep going. So then I had like this really existential crisis type thing. And then I went back, and I had turned down the film major. So at the second college I was at, I got accepted into their BFA film program, and I turned it down at first. I was like, like, it's fine. I don't want to do this. Like, I told them, like, thank you for the offer, but I'm going to be in a journalism. I'm going to be a journalist or something. Like, I'm going to be an English major. And then I was like, maybe my paths with film will cross again in the future, but, And then I, like, ran back and I was like, can I be a film major? I'm sorry. I know I turned you guys down, but is there still space? Is there still time? And then I did finish the BFA film program at that college. And now I'm in an MFA film program. So, but I'm trying to say, like, I'm so proud of how I've grown as a filmmaker and, like, my projects. I'm still in the early phase for sure, because I think filmmaking and a lot of art forms are very long term, right? It's very long game, because it takes a long time and it takes a large volume of work to get better. You have to just make a ton of stuff as an artist, whether you're a writer, right? You have to write a ton of things, whether you have to always be writing, right? Whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're a painter, it takes a long time, and you have to put the reps in to actually bear the fruit. Even musicians, they make a ton of work. They make a ton of songs until they hit a song or a few songs where they're like, wait, no, this sounds good. This is sounding better. And then you discover your style and everything, and it takes a long time, and I'm still early in that process. Like, I've shot a few short films. I haven't finished all of them, but I hope to share things with you on this channel. I love sharing my stuff on social media, especially because I'm still in an early stage, and I really just want to share my stories, right? Even though I'm in an early stage, I still believe in my stories, and I still think that what I make is important, and I'm proud of it, and I want to share that with you in case it helps you in some way, in case my message helps you. Number five is a short one. It's just be patient, plant the seeds, and don't check every 5 seconds to see if it's sprouted. So I think this goes along with what I was just saying. Another reason I'm proud I didn't quit filmmaking is because it's so satisfying when you stick long enough and you're starting to see progress. Like, I'm starting to see improvement in how I understand film sets, right? How I understand film terms and the language of filmmaking, like whether it's shot types, right? Like, this should be a medium close-up, or this should be a close-up, or what if, I'm starting to understand the language. And even when I watch films, I start to dissect it, and I'm starting to understand everything that went into it. What's a funny anecdote is I was watching To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, like, the movie on Netflix, the first one. And in the scene when Lara Jean and Peter are in the diner, I hear the clacking, or I hear the mugs in the background, and I'm like, oh, like, that's a cute detail. Like, they're doing that to make us immerse into the world. Like, I noticed things about the sound, for example, in some scenes. I'm like, oh, like, they added this in so it can feel more realistic, because diners are not quiet, and that's how I think now. I think, oh, like, that's so cute, they added this in the background, or like, that's a nice touch that they added with this sound effect. And I think like that now, and it's funny, and it's really satisfying, and I'm really also getting to a place where I'm starting to see the progression of my work. I'm starting to see the progression of my style, my themes, the type of things I like to write, the type of things I like to make, and even I'm starting to see just my style evolving, and it's really cool. And I wouldn't have gotten to this place if I quit, so be patient, let the seeds grow, don't check every 5 seconds. It takes time. Number 6, try everything you've ever been curious about, even if it's a flop or a failure. For example, I made handmade poetry zines and tried to sell them when I was 21 or 22 and didn't make many sales. But then it led me to make a digital ebook that also didn't make many sales. Period, though. At least I tried and learned some things about business that I will apply in my later ventures. It'll turn into something else. Those creations were cathartic for me anyway. So This point is kind of similar to what I've been talking about before. Just try everything you've ever been curious about. Like for me, for example, I made poetry books. Like I still have my digital poetry book up. I'll put it down below. It's on my Etsy shop. But I also made like physical poetry zines, and I sold some. Okay, like it made some sales, but not really notable, not really anything crazy, right? And I think it's fine. Like I learned about business. I learned about what it takes to sell something. And it was just a really cool experience. Like it adds to your lore. Like that adds to my lore. Having a digital ebook that I made on Canva, and like I designed it and everything, and I compiled all my poetry and put it in there. I also wrote some advice. And like I have an ebook, that's just cool. Like I think it's just cool when you try things. Like this actually brings me to my next point, number 7. Trying is cool. Effort is cool. It's cool. It adds to your lore. Because how many people can say that they did that, Because I think a lot of people are scared. Like they have an idea, but then for example, some people might have an idea to post a video, but then they delete it, which is real because I've done that. Like when I first started my YouTube channel, I would delete my videos too. Like I would be like, no, I'll take that down, But now I've stayed in the game a little bit where it's like, okay, I don't have notable views or anything, but I've stayed in it long enough, and I think it's cool that I tried. And another thing is that I designed merch. Like I designed sweatshirts and tote bags that were merch for my YouTube channel, but that were also merch for my short film. So I made my first short film. I've made like short film projects like before, but my first like finished like short film that I shared was when I did my BFA thesis film when I was in college a few years ago. And I made tote bags that had a quote from the film on the tote bag, and I also painted vines, like leaves, on the tote bag by hand, and I try to sell those. And then I try to sell my merch. I designed the sweatshirts, other tote bags. I had so many designs. I was in my designing era for some reason, and like that barely sold. But like friends and family that supported me bought it, so I'm very grateful for them. But it wasn't like this huge thing, right? And I discontinued those designs, but I'm still proud of them and I still rock them. I have like my tote bags that are left over from that era, and I still rock them. I think they're great. I love them, and maybe I'll bring them back because I believe in them so much, but I just discontinued them. I actually don't really know why. I just discontinued them, but I am proud of that because again, it adds to my lore. Like I learned how to design things. I learned a little bit about how that works, and it just adds to my knowledge, and I think that's cool. It's cool to try, even if it's a flop, even if it's a failure, like that's not what matters, because what matters is also like the knowledge that you gain, because then you can apply it to later ventures. Like now from that knowledge, I'm like, I still have a few designs in my head, things I want to do, but it was an era that I just wanted to try. I think I didn't keep going with it because I wanted to focus on YouTube and like my films and stuff. And I think it takes a lot of work to design things and to try to sell them, right? Like that's a whole different thing. And I think it's important to try not to do too many things at once, and that's something that I learned. It's not even part of this, but I guess something I will add is like, don't try to do too many things at once, because then you'll burn out and then you'll spread yourself thin. Like I had to really hunker down and be like, let me just focus on making more YouTube videos and improving my videos. Let me focus on making more films so that I can have things to talk about in my YouTube. It all feeds into each other. But yeah, I had to like narrow my focus a little bit. Number 8, the last one. You will go through so many rough patches. OMG. Times will be so hard. But those are character building to TBH, and it's just an experience. You'll get back on your feet and learn from your mistakes, and then create something better for yourself now that you have more data on your values and what you really want. So this one was important to me because let me tell you, this is something I was talking about with my friends actually. I celebrated my birthday last week. I had quite a few birthday celebrations, let me tell you. So on my actual birthday, I actually had class. So I went to class, but then it was a really beautiful day. day, so I was able to go to the park after class and hang out, and it was very casual, you know. It was like a solo like hangout. And then on a weekend I went out with my friends and we went to a karaoke bar, and it was really fun. We went out to get drinks, and then on another day I went with my family and we like went to a restaurant and I got a slice of cake, and it was really nice. But anyway, what I was talking about with my friends when we were at the bar, we were saying how hard 2025 was for us and how hard being 24 was for some reason. And like in my experience, like being 24 was really hard, and also being in 2025 was just not my year. And it was so hard because one thing that happened that was really hard in particular is that I was fired from my job. Like I was unemployed I had like a corporate job, and then I was fired, and then I was unemployed in 2025 for like 2 months, like 2, almost 3 months. And it was so hard. It was like one of the darkest times ever. I cried every day. Being unemployed is so difficult, and it was one of those rough patches. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, we're only up from here. Like that will never happen again. Okay. Like I never want to experience that again, but I experienced it, and like it helps, that low helps me appreciate the highs now. Like even though I work as a barista, right, and it's not like I have my dream job or whatever, or you know, or I'm where I want to be yet, at least I'm not there. So think about that. Like if you had a rough patch and you came out of it, celebrate that, acknowledge that, because at least you're not there anymore. And it's character building, it's lore. It helps you push yourself towards something new, because you know what? Yeah, that was a rough patch, but now at least I'm not there, and I'm in film school and I'm making a ton of projects I'm really excited about. So anything is better than that. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support always. And let's keep in touch on my newsletter and my other social medias. I'll put the links down below. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.